RetroGamingNow, and I am here with Fingerbones. And I know nothing about this game, and so we're going to see how it goes. I just sort of saw it, didn't really read a whole lot about it. I just knew that you should just go into it blind, so we're going to figure it out. So, Fingerbones, a psychological horror game by David Szymanski. Fingerbones is intended to be completed in a single sitting, and there is no save function. It is suggested that you set aside about half an hour to complete it. To exit, visit the door you started at. Use WAS to move and left mouse button to interact with the environment. Press escape to toggle this screen, press I to invert the mouse. Alright, let's just turn that down a little bit. Turn that down a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so we are in a room. This is the door, the exit door. And let's see. See if we can figure out where we are. Got some nice sort of atmospheric music going. I really do like the color scheme. Like, there's not a whole lot of like texturing, sort of very low low resolution, but it just feels very warm and very nice, even though there's not a whole lot to look at. So got some cobwebs over here. Looks like this room has sort of been abandoned, and you can see these windows are boarded up over here. And things are knocked around, sort of messed up. So let's look around and see if we can find what's going on. Don't see anything in these bookshelves. Here we go. When I was 15 years old, I lost my virginity. I shook uncontrollably the entire time. I felt that same primal excitement yesterday night in the cellar. Okay, well, does not give us a whole lot to work with, but something in the cellar. Kind of a strange thing to start out with, but okay, here we go. It's my weekend to get Katie, but I'm really not in the mood. I distracted her with the TV, and she came here to read. I couldn't interest myself in reading, so I tried to write. I couldn't write anything more than the usual handful of disconnected thoughts and theories. Medication didn't help, and divorce certainly didn't help. Because I am not depressed, I'm enlightened. This is the result of 2 decades of scientific education and philosophical pondering. This is the price of knowledge. Okay, so clearly there's some issues going on with this guy, and he refuses to acknowledge it. Yeah, it's still sort of just giving us trickling little thoughts. That's sort of what it said. He can't do more than thoughts. And really, that's where we're at right now. Can't quite see what's going on in there. Flashlight, yes. Okay, not much here. Here we go. Appears to be a page from a manuscript. Pop morality is too reliant on emotions and not reliant enough on rational thought. If morality must be determined, and I maintain that it is a farce, then it should not be determined by feeling. Feelings are nebulous, subjective, and changeable. Rather, it should be determined by thinking. The actions of a natural creature are natural and thus moral, unless a concrete scientific reason can be given to prove them as immoral. So that's some food for thought. This is probably one of those notes he's talking about. And so what he's arguing there is that what somebody does, or what a natural creature does, as he calls it, has to be moral because it's from nature. So sort of saying that there's no morality really doesn't exist unless there's some way to objectively show that. Or perhaps he's just saying that you can't be immoral if you're natural. Which, you know, because it talks about, like, well, what does it mean to be natural? Let's see what we've got here. Okay, well, it says I can click on it, but I can't do anything. Can't open these drawers, unfortunately. Okay, let's look around. If I missed something, I'm sure I have. Okay, we already saw this one. But maybe now that I've got the flashlight, I can see into the dark corners, all these cobwebs here. here we go. It's locked. Alright. Oh, button. Activate something, perhaps a generator or a furnace. Let's keep looking and see. There's a crook in the wall over there. Here we go. I don't know why I'd use my daughter's name as a door lock code in my survival bunker, but whatever keeps her happy, I suppose. She likes her mother. A delicate, fragile version of her mother. She is like her mother. Damn her. Okay, well, I'm sure that's what this keyboard is for. Ah, there we go. You see it's lighting up now. And we can see if I can remember Katie, I think is what it was, for her daughter's name, his daughter's name. Let me just check. I think it's in this one over here. Katie, yeah. It's giving me that error. Okay, well, let me just look at all these again. Okay, that's pop morality. I wonder if there's something back up here. Is this door still locked? No, it's not. Okay, well, this must be the cellar, which was referred to. Here we go. It finally happened. The whole world is a chaos of thunder and screams, and when the ashes settle, we will all be wild animals again. I am ecstatic beyond words. I haven't been able to reach Lynn for several days, and she's probably dead for all I know or care. But Katie was here when it started, and I have no idea what to do with her. Most of the town is dead. Katie and I only survived because we ran to the bunker. Perhaps this is what we needed. I've needed. Freedom from all the irrational rules and inane social values. Just pure, beautiful survival. So, interesting. He's talking about being trapped in his bunker with Katie, and how, it goes back to that thing about morality was saying, is how these rules, these apparently social contract. Oh, there's a crying girl in the background. That is a little bit creepy. Let's go in here. That is locked. Anyway, so he's saying that these moral values, when he's in here, don't really exist. Oh, here we go. I boxed up everything that isn't practical and useful. I burned all the books which weren't for scientific edification. I'd like to store the boxes in the cellar, but I can't get them down the ladder by myself. I piled them up near the hatch. The blood would probably ruin them anyway. Okay, well that is morose. We still cannot get down there. Ah, here we go. There's another one. The tool room has been her name for years now, and I can't bring myself to change it. So there is some sort of interaction going on between him and Katie. And from everything we've read, it is not a good one. There's something evil or dark occurring, and I don't know why we can't go anywhere. The tool room he's talking about. Just make sure I haven't missed anything. Anyway, so one other thing, he was mentioning all these books, and so he can't bring them down in here because the blood would ruin them. Whatever that's for. I do have this sneaking feeling we're going to find out in just a minute, but let's get back up here. It's going slow for some reason. See if there's something I missed. this. I wonder if there's just something downstairs that I'm not seeing. I believe I've read all the notes up here too, that's what I was trying to do. Okay, well, let's go back down and make sure I'm just not being completely dumb. Still not quite sure what this is for. Oh, I know, yeah, it activated that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so as far as I can tell, nothing has happened here for quite some time. Is this all the same? Yeah, because everything's locked up. Shoot, what am I missing here? I've seen all this. Let me just read these again and see if there's something I need to look for. The tool room has been her name for years. Okay, where's the tool room? I'd like to store the boxes in the cellar, but can't get them down the ladder. Okay. So, yeah, this must be the tool room here. Why can't I get in, though? I wonder if there's a key I've got to find. The atmosphere is pretty unnerving. Besides the fact that nothing has really happened, it just feels unsettling, and a lot of it is because of these notes, honestly. That's where the entire plot is coming from right now. I'm trying to figure out how to get down. Is there a key over here or something? Oh, these knives. Interesting. I feel like there's some clue that I'm just not seeing. But shoot, I don't know what to do here, honestly. I really wish I could open these drawers. I just sort of got to think. So we know we've got to get deeper in that bunker because it's talked about that in the cellar. It's mentioned that a couple times now. Okay, it's not that door. But how? I wonder if I turn the power off. Nope, it's on for good. Shoot, okay, well, let's just go down there again. I gotta be missing something. I'm just gonna look around here again and see. It shouldn't be that hard to miss anything, but it's not on the wall, it's well, I don't know what to do. Oh, wait a minute. The tool room has been her name for years. I wonder. Yeah, it says Lynn, so maybe I have to go up here and re-enter Lynn into the console. I bet that's what it is. Let me see if that works. So it's L-Y-N-N, I think. Okay, it'll give me that same noise. Let's just go see if we've unlocked anything. Yes, there we go. Alright, what shall we find in here? Okay, some breathing noises. That is just wonderful. Nice and comforting. She remembered Father's Day and drew me a picture. I don't understand her. She's just like her mother. She wants to waste time drawing pictures we're barely able to find enough food to survive. I turned her crayons into candles. We need more candles in case this generator goes out again, and it helps break up the monotony. I yearn for the excitement of those first weeks. Excitement of what? Well, there are a lot of, one thing I've been noticing, there's a lot of knives and general blades and stuff. There are things I've wanted to do for years, desires I've kept locked in the back of my consciousness. It's been nearly a year since I've seen a woman now, and I realize there's no practical reason to keep those desires locked up anymore. Okay, well, I shouldn't have to say what he's talking about there. That seems pretty clear to me. Yeah, okay. Well, if he is really throwing away his morality, that's what he's going to do. And there's that crying again. I changed the storage room code to something I can easily remember. NNY. The rest of the word is missing. Okay. Something NNY. And that's locked. NNY. What would that be? Oh, I bet you it's just Lin backwards. Let me go try that. NNY, capital L. Let's go back up there. I don't know why he would need a code, especially if it is supposedly this apocalyptic scenario where nothing matters, it's just in this bunker. Let's try this though. Alright. Yeah, okay, well, let's just sort of see, like, it's slowly giving me a bigger picture, a more clear picture of who this guy is. And once he decides to give up his morals. I am a bag of DNA and I exist to make more of myself. And there's some more disturbing sounds. I married and produced a daughter because of my genes demand reproduction. I wrote books and created because creativity served as a survival advantage to my ancient ape ancestors. I built this place, took refuge in it, and spent hours thinking up silly little artificial laws to live by because my forefathers built cities and societies to allow time and peace to reproduce and to protect their genes. Dreams, loves, opinions, desires, beauty, innocence, figments of our collective primordial imagination. Fleeting electrical signals that fire across our synapses for a pointless moment in time. They used to serve a purpose, and now they are needless confusion. And here I am, the last man on earth for all I know, ready to be freed from them. Yeah, okay, so this is what he was saying earlier. He's in a situation where there's no society, no laws, nothing that requires him to be moral, and so he decides he's just going to throw it all away. There's no reason for him to be moral. Because he argues that all these morals and these laws, you know, these emotions and stuff, allowed him these genes to survive to this point, but now there's no need for him. Let's click that button. There's still more of these sounds. I don't know what that button would have done except open this. And that is still locked. Yeah, so all these little fragments and stuff we've been reading have all been basically talking about the same theme of how morals are completely a human construct and how we really don't need them. Yeah, that button didn't seem to do anything. So we gotta find, there's probably one more code to get down in here. And he talks about, let's go back to this last one, see what he used. Because that's always where the code's been hidden. used to serve a purpose, now they are needless confusion. And here I am, the last man on earth, for all I know, ready to be freed from them. So maybe free is a code. Because we would enter free, and he would go down there to where he could finally be free. With whatever that means. I have this feeling we're going to find out pretty soon. But let's just let's try it out and see. Because I didn't see any other names or anything. Okay, it didn't make any noise. How about freedom? Oh, that seemed to work. Alright. Now we're going to find out what freedom really is for him. I wonder if there are any jump scares in this game. I kind of don't think so. But, okay. We have heard a little bit more than we wanted to know about this cellar. And here we are. And more sounds getting a little bit louder. And it's flashing. My flashlight. Oh no. There's only enough food for one, so she's going to die anyway. And I'm free now. Freedom. It took the end of all humanity for me to find freedom. Oh, this is not boding well. Not one bit. What are we going to find in here? It seems to have been torn from a diary. She finally died last night. I don't know whether from starvation, dehydration, or blood loss. I threw her body in the woods. Her fingers, my anti-religious artifacts, my testaments to moral and intellectual freedom, are locked in the safe upstairs. What? That is okay. I'm content in the knowledge that I haven't done anything wrong. Well, yeah, okay, if you decide that no morals exist, of course you haven't done anything wrong, because wrong doesn't exist, is what you're saying. Oh, it just ended. The father didn't know why he'd come back after all these years, starving and tired. He just wanted to see the cellar one last time. With one last flicker, the flashlight died and he was left in the pitch dark. He sat on the cold floor and closed his eyes. He could still hear her, even now. It was peaceful in here in the cellar. It was free here in the cellar. Okay, sorry, I just barely got that out in time. But, okay, I'm recording this afterwards because as soon as it finished, the game just ended. It closed the game, but, so from that last little part, it sort of told us that we were the father who came back to go see what happened to his daughter. And maybe, I can't remember if Lynn was her daughter, our daughter, I can't really check, but, well, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of thought-provoking to think of what would happen, like, perhaps it's arguing kind of what that guy's saying, is that we all devolve to a primal instinct and that there's no need for laws. Probably more the way I see it is that humans would be inherently evil, and so when you remove these constructs that keep us together, it allows us to devolve back to our evil form. But, you know, like he's saying, there's no such thing as evil because that's something we made on our own. It's a very interesting, yeah, I don't know, it's like, it's definitely thought-provoking, right? You know, what he did, you know, it's not entirely clear what he did, but it's clear that what he did was not correct and not, you know, not morally correct if you're using, you know, a standard sense of morals, but, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of thought-provoking. It's like, well, it tells the story of what happens when you're the last person on Earth. Do you have that capability of maintaining your morals, or do you just sort of devolve? And, like, what it seemed like is he's going, you know, he's doing things an animal will do. He, you know, besides the fact he might have raped her, she dies and cuts off her, you know, it's just very, I don't know, is tough to swallow. And one of the questions the game asks is, well, what would happen if we were put in that situation? Would we be able to keep our morality, or would we just descend also? And I sort of think of that quote, that total power corrupts totally. And when you're in a situation like that with you and one other person, and you're the more powerful one, you're going to be corrupted. That's sort of what it's saying, is there's no way to maintain your sanity. Well, and as sort of as he puts it, he was depressed, but he's like, no, I'm not depressed. I'm just enlightened. I'm seeing things as they are. And I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. It's something I have to think about a little bit and process more. But yeah, as far as the game goes, very intriguing. I never quite thought I would have, thought this philosophically about what even does it mean to be a human and to be moral, and are humans even different than animals from a game? And it's as far as the game goes, there's really nothing. There's nothing that happens. There's no gameplay. There's no jump scares. It's not scary in the sense that a horror game is, but it's more of perhaps scary on a more fundamental level, as it causes you to think about, what if I was in that situation? What would happen? It's more deep. I think more deeply about, what does it even mean to be human, and are we different than animals? Yeah, that honestly is not what I expected out of that game at all. I did not think it was going to be quite so thought-provoking. Yeah, I probably have to recommend this game. I'm definitely thinking about it, but it's one of those games I feel like you can only experience once. And once you experience it, you can already, there's nothing new, since there's no gameplay. But one other thing about it is, I'm not sure for someone who's already thought extensively about this, I've thought about it a little bit, but someone who knows, their philosophy a lot better than I do, it might not be that interesting. But I think for someone who doesn't, like me, or sort of a casual fan of philosophy, it's more of a kind of a little parable, I guess I could say, to show some thoughts and what happens when we devolve. Yeah, you might notice I'm just sort of doing a stream of consciousness here, what I'm thinking as it's happening. But yeah, it's intriguing, and it ends with the thoughts, the game, freedom is when he's able to go to the cellar and do what he wants, and what he wants can't be wrong. It's very, very interesting. Anyway, so this was RetroGamingNow playing Fingerbones, and I hope you enjoyed this game. I certainly enjoyed it in a kind of a dark way, and I will see you guys later. Have a great one.